Hi, my name is Davies. I'm Executive Creative Director of Americas for a design company called Fitch. Our headquarters in the US is here in Columbus, Ohio, but we also have 8 different offices around the world in 6 countries. We're a full service design and branding firm, and we do all sorts of stuff from brand development, corporate identity work, product packaging for clients, and then a lot of work in how those brands are going to translate into the built environment. I want to talk a little bit about our process, the way in which we work. We have a 4-step process which we've actually been working with for about 40 years, so it's quite well developed. First step is a step called Discover, which is really where we learn everything we can about our clients and all the information they can possibly give us on how they want to go to market and who their customer is and those kind of things. Second step is called Define, which is where we really come up with and bake the big ideas that we're going to use to inform the rest of our work. Our third step is Design, which shouldn't need too much explanation, and our fourth step is Deliver, which is where we start to bring those designs to reality. One of the things that I think is quite different about our process from a lot of our competition is their big thing that they focus on is really that third step, Design. And you can understand why, because they're a design firm, but they love to come in and talk about the design. They think it's the biggest thing. They talk to the client about it a lot. We actually think the second step is the most important, which is Define. If you don't get Define right, then you can't get Design right. All the work that's going to come after that is going to come from the wrong place. One of the reasons I think it's important to talk about that when you're thinking about your work as a student or as a graduate is really the idea that why you design something, in my mind, is a million times more important than what it is that you design. So the why is really the thought process and what it is that goes into your ideas. And so we see tons and tons of these student portfolios coming in where the end product, the what, is this absolutely beautiful thing, all these great renderings, all these great visuals that they've created, but there's not really any thought behind them. There's not a lot of process behind them. And that's not the kind of person that's going to get a job, because to me, once again, the process and the thought behind it is much more important than the final product. Now, you do have to be able to sketch, you do have to be able to draw. Those things are really, really important, because that's how you communicate your ideas to people. Most importantly, how you're going to communicate them to the client. But if that thought process isn't there, if there's no why behind that what, then that's not really going to work. And I think that's one of the most fundamental things that I would encourage people to focus on, is the why behind the design versus just the what. And then the second thing I wanted to talk about a little bit, just for a second, about student philosophy and process of design. One of the hardest things when you're in school is coming up with a sense of personal style, your own particular look and feel that's very different from everybody else's. And it's a very difficult thing to do in school, and so the way that I've always thought about it, and the trick that I used when I was in college, is spend a little bit of time focusing on what you don't like. And if you start to focus on what you don't like, in particular, actually what you hate, the things that you can't stand, get yourself a wall, stick these images up on the wall of the things that you don't like, and you can use that as a shorthand to get down to what it is that you like. So when I was in school, my mum was a big fan of Laura Ashley, the sort of print and furniture and whatever folks, and Laura Ashley has this very sort of arts and crafts, flowery kind of inspiration to it. And I hated it, absolutely hated the way that this stuff looked, so I knew I didn't like Laura Ashley. So I start filling a wall up with Laura Ashley, and I'm going down in the direction I eventually ended up with, which was being more sort of a minimalist or a modernist designer. So that's my 2 tips. One is focus on the why rather than the what, and the second thing is figure out what you don't like so that you can figure out what it is that you do like and the way that you want to present your design.